she's my friend, and she's your friend, Justice Janine.
Do we love Sean Hannity, by the way? I love him.
Steve Doocy.
Thank you to my very good friend, Rupert Murdoch. There's only one Rupert that we know.
Roger Ailes, a great man, one of the greatest men in the history of television. Roger Ailes from Fox.
Welcome back to Hardball. It's no secret that President Trump and Fox News have benefited from a, let's call it a symbiotic relationship the last few years. Now, in an explosive New York report from the New Yorker magazine, former White House aides say the relationship is so key to this president, the one with Fox, that he's influenced more by Fox pundits and guests than by his staff or intelligence experts who brief him. In other words, they're calling the shots. According to New Yorker's Jane Mayer, President Trump has told confidants that he ranks the network's reporters loyal to him on a scale of 1 to 10, like in a beauty contest. Sean Hannity receives a solid 10, of course, while Steve Doocy, the co-host of Fox and Friends, gets a 12. 2 bonus points for his enthusiasm. One aide told the magazine that President Trump sees Fox's support as key because it's important for the base. Well, in return, catch this part, the New Yorker article spotlights a troubling pattern in which the president himself works on behalf of Fox News' interests, economic interests. According to one well-informed source, President Trump ordered Gary Cohn, his then National Director of Economic Counsel, to pressure the Department of Justice to file a lawsuit blocking the merger of at&t and Time Warner, an apparent effort to retaliate against CNN, which is owned by Time Warner. NBC News has reached out to Fox News and its parent company, 21st Century Fox, for comment. For more, I'm joined by Dylan Byers, NBC News senior media reporter, and Jason Johnson, my old pal, politics editor at TheRoot.com. I first want to go to Dylan. Without getting into details of antitrust and all this, why is the President of the United States working for Fox?
Well, you have to almost reverse engineer this, okay? Fox News has, from its inception, been a business, and it is focused on the bottom line. And the business that Rupert Murdoch realized, the business opportunity he saw in the United States, was that he could capitalize on the anxieties and resentment of conservatives who feel like they didn't have a voice in the media.
Just what he did in Britain and Australia.
Just what he did in Britain.
Go down market and to the right.
Exactly.
Down market and to the right.
That was a huge business opportunity. And for 20 years, that built up over time to a place where its ultimate realization was President Trump. That was the ultimate realization of the Fox News business model. Now,
who's the toy here? The president or Fox?
Well, look, Fox is doing great from a bottom-line perspective. Right. I think Trump has ensured that he has a core base that he can reach through Fox News. Like you said, it's a symbiotic relationship. I think they're both, I think it's mutually beneficial. I think they're both doing quite well because of it. Yeah. And I think, to me, the salient detail from Jane Mayer's reporting in The New Yorker, you know, there's so much here about this symbiotic relationship that's really, you know, it's feeds liberal outrage over the how can a media organization do this in America? That's sort of beside the point. To me, the really key detail is what you cited, which is Trump ordering Gary Cohn and then Chief of Staff John Kelly to block the at&t Time Warner merger, because that's when it changes. That's when it becomes about the president doing something on behalf of his friends in business, in this case, Rupert Murdoch.
Jason, let's talk about that relationship and which way it works. It looks like it works both ways. And I tell you, it seems to me in this media world, which is very polarized, obviously, and let's not kid ourselves, it's very polarized. It's one thing to agree with a point of view of a political interest of a party. It's the other one to feel like you're working with them. And you're working for them. That's a huge difference. I mean, you can walk down the street and find people that say, I agree with Reagan on this, but not on that. I agree on it. If I'm not working for him, there's a big difference. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and also when it's editorial control, Chris, look, back in the 80s, you know, George Will liked Reagan. I mean, like, there have always been individual writers and reporters and columnists who have had close personal relationships or even wanted to advocate on behalf of a president. But that was not an editorial mandate. That was not from on high. And that's what you have happening with Fox News.
You don't go to meetings. You don't go to meetings. You don't sit down with them. You don't talk. Imagine, I can't imagine anybody on the center left or middle left or wherever on the left even that I know of sitting down and talking turkey with Nancy Pelosi and how to get the agenda sold. It's unimaginable. But you see Sean showing up at rallies. That's different, it seems to me.
showing
Your
up at
thoughts?
rallies, promoting anything the president wants to be, showing up in campaign commercials. But Chris, I would say the most disturbing thing about this article for me was basically Fox engaging in their own catch and kill. It's one thing if you don't want to cover a story because maybe you have a bit of an editorial bias in favor of a candidate, but you have a reporter who found out about illegal activity.
Well,
the
tell
payoff
about
to
it
Stormy
because it's in the article. The payoff to the women. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the payoff to women, Cohen using campaign funds, breaking the law in order to pay off Stormy Daniels is one of the key moments, one of the climaxes sort of this story. And Fox News said, hey, sorry, we're not going with that story. So when you have a network that is willing to hide crimes on behalf of a candidate, that's no longer news. That's not entertainment. That's just state TV.
Yeah, go ahead, Don. By the way, just in all fairness, because Fox has denied that, the person who was accused by that person over at Fox of saying, we're not running this story, even though it's a good story.
Right, they've denied it.
that.
So they denied it to the New Yorker. We've reached out to both Fox, the parent company, Fox News. No comment from either one. For me,
What'd you learn from this piece? Anything? Because you're an expert on this.
I did. You know what I learned? So I think this piece, outside of the sort of the silver bullet of trying to stop the at&t Time Warner deal, which is a separate, very significant deal.
Carrying water for Fox.
The carrying water for Fox is really, it offends liberal sensibilities, but I think it highlights to me that we are so far away from a 20th century model of media, wherein there's this notion that somehow media has to meet certain standards, certain sort of not just editorial standards, but also almost moral standards of integrity. This throws into sharp relief the fact that the media business is a business, particularly on cable news. And very often decisions are made that don't have anything to do with, being impartial, not carrying water, holding up both sides of an argument. That is just not the world we live in anymore. You can market that. You can market integrity to your viewers. But Fox News doesn't need to do that. What Fox News is doing is marketing. We are the voice for the disenfranchised, largely white, lower middle class in this country. And in that Trump world, in that sort of 30+% that identifies with Trump, identifies with Sean Hannity,
it's like
they're never going to leave.
It's like the weeklies and the old shoppers and the neighborhoods. If you want to get your story covered in local politics in the local newspaper, you got to buy ads.
Right.
It reminds me of that, guys. Thank you so much, Dylan Byers and Jason Johnson. Up next,